Hi teachers, my name is Anna, and in this opportunity I will be introducing you to the direct method, or also well known as the natural method. So let's go for it. So the direct method. Let's talk about the origins of the direct method. The direct method has its origins in England in 1900. It came from the idea that by that moment all the methods created focus on the student learning how to translate documents. That means that the student had to think in both languages, the target language and their native language. And that was so hard for the students. That is the reason why it was so hard for a student to learn a different language. So that's when the direct method is created and something happened. What happened is that the students started learning easier the target language. Why? Because the direct method focuses on the student to learn how to communicate. That is the reason why a very important characteristic of the direct method is that just the target language is used. It is totally prohibited to use the native language of the student, so just the target language. That will be easier, so the student will learn how to just communicate, not have to think twice. So that's how the direct method was created. Also, well, when it started to be like applied, when the direct method started like to be important and useful in schools, it was in 1000 1070 when this happened. And since then, it has been a very common method used in most schools all around the world. So that's well, that is basically the part of the origins of the direct method. Okay, so now let's move into the characteristics of the direct method. So its main characteristic is the one that I was mentioning previously, that it's that the native language of the student is not allowed. It can just be use the target language. So the full class has to be in the target language. The explanation, the exercises, and the homeworks, everything has to be in the target language. The reason why this it is because if we start using the native language of the student, that will difficult the process of the student learning the language. So that is like the most important characteristic of this method. The second characteristic is that well, this method it's also for this method, it's really important the vocabulary use. The vocabulary given to the student has to be important and significant for them. We as teachers have to be really careful at the moment of planning because we have to check that the vocabulary that we will teach to our students will be significant for them. That means that the student will use them and apply them on their daily life. So basically, those are like the two main characteristics of the direct method. Okay, for my last point here, we will be checking the pros and also the cons about this method. So, the positive things about this method is that it is easier for the student to learn the target language. The student will learn significant things like how to communicate. It's also a great method used to practice pronunciation and fluency because the student will just think in one language, what will make them become fluent on their conversations, and also that will improve their confidence. That means that the student will not be afraid of using the target language because he will be used to it. The student will be used to use it in the class, so at the moment of practicing outside it will be easier. So well, those are basically the pros of this method. So now let's check the cons. So Something negative about this method is that this focuses mainly on listening and speaking. That means that things like skills like writing and reading are not really significant in this method. And well, these two skills are also really important at the moment of learning a language. Well, basically, that it's like the only negative thing um, that I find here for this method. And well, so let's move into the next point.
Now, here I show you some of the websites that help you with direct method with the ELT. One of the website is Read Theory. Read Theory determine the level of each student to assign them passage that perfectly suit their abilities. Each passage is automatically assigned and graded in the same system. As students begin to show improvement, they are present with slightly more difficult passage. If they start to struggle, the program will provide slightly easier passage to build their confidence until they prove they're ready for a challenge again. So, in this way, Read Theory works in a tandem with educators, providing the perfect balance of challenge and the support. So, Read Theory, it's normally to help the reading comprehension of the students. In this case, according to that, they need to answer some questions related to the reading. Um, they read an article and a little paragraph and a short story. It's different um, types of readings, and then they need to ask some questions. Normally, it's 5 questions, the 5, 8, and 10 questions, but they need to understand the reading after they answer the questions. So, and the second website is lyrics training. Lyrics training is an easy way to to enjoy the lyrics of your favorite song. Lyrics training also has a special karaoke mode that lets you sing, enjoy, and practice the pronunciation of the full lyrics. This site is perfect way to learn and improve your skill with other languages. Helps you to learn new vocabulary and expressions and reinforce grammar concepts through continuous exercise of writing the missing words. But above all, lyrics training helps you train your ear to dramatically improve your capacity to recognize sounds and words of a foreign language in a very short time, training your brain almost unconsciously whether you the meaning of all the words or not. With this website, it's normally enjoy because you listen your favorite music, your favorite artist, and then you need to complete some exercise, some sentence according the lyrics of the song. So this websites I think help you a lot with this direct method with the ELT. So thank you very much.
Uh, Hi, teachers. So, as we just saw, for English language teaching, their direct method is one of the best methods to use for the classroom. We can say that the direct method will help the students to achieve his goal using the target language. So, one thing that we need to make emphasis on it is that we don't need to point each mistakes of the students so they can feel confident, because the first step of this direct method is so they can learn first the language, so they can learn first more speaking. and then we can help them with grammar, because as one of the principles of direct method is we learn, or students learn the language as they learn the mother tongue when they are growing. So it will be the same. We When we learn the our own language, we didn't start talking or learning about grammar. We just start talking first, and then in school we start learning grammar. So we don't need to make emphasis, or we don't need to point each mistake that the students will make. Other thing that my other partners say, it's one of the great and highly recommended tools to use with students is read theory. In read theory, like she said, we could make a classroom, and then we can check our students' progress. So we can check what's their weaknesses, what's their strongest, so we can make sure our students will achieve their goals. So remember, uh, teach English is not easy, but if we focus and we help our students, we will be successful with them, and they will be happy because they we will help them to achieve their success, and they will speak fluently English. That's all. Thanks for your attention.